Hello, everybody. Do I look like a detective? I even put pants on, but I don't think you can see them. Well, I have my magnifying glass, and well, I look a little bit more like a concierge at a hotel, but I tried my best because today we're going to solve a mystery. This book is called, in English, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. And it's just what the title says, and I think the guy whose perspective we're reading from is a snitch, and he has snitched on someone, and they kind of don't like him anymore because of that. And yeah, that's what happened. And then somebody kills someone, and he tries to solve the mystery. He's also like a murder mystery author. And I thought, because I have to read it for book club, and I have a whole series of, I need to finish this book in one day for my book club, because I'm always late. And this one, just as well. Well, it's Thursday, and book club is on Saturday, so I still have today and tomorrow, and maybe in the morning of Saturday. So yeah. Okay, so it's already quite late. I also started this book too late, but I am already 93 pages in, and I'm going to keep reading a little bit, but I have to work tomorrow, so not too long. And then tomorrow I'm going to make a decent dent, hopefully, or finish the book. But this is going to be a spoiler vlog because, well, I tried to solve the mystery or the murder before the book solving it. And I am actually planning on doing like a suspect board with all the suspects and everybody who's in the book. I've already written them down on my phone. So keep stoked for that. But let me introduce you to the story. So everybody in Ernie's family has killed someone. And he is telling us about each person who has killed someone. So there are his mom, his dad, his stepfather. We've already found out that he has two brothers, but we don't know about one of them. And Ernie is writing this story. So he like basically already told us from the beginning that on which pages deaths occur, and he's like guiding us through the story and talking to us directly and speaking directly to the reader, which I think is super fun so far. It's like he already knows what happened, but he kind of wants us to guess what is going to happen. And he says like, oh, usually this is super cliche, but I had to put it in, or usually when some author writes this in a story, that means this, but in this case it's not like that. And I love that. Okay, so here's Olga from the editing, and honestly nothing I said during that part where I was supposed to tell you about what the book is about made any sense. So I'm just going to, throw in some information here and there where it's necessary for the video to get along, because it's super complicated. But we have this family where everybody supposedly has killed someone, and our main protagonist is Ernest, or Ernie, and his brother has killed somebody. That's the first thing we find out. Yeah, and further in the story we find out like a little bit more about that, but Ernest can't live with that, so he is telling on him to the police, and there's this lawsuit, and his brother is going to jail, and his family is pissed about that. So they ignore Ernie, and he doesn't see his mom very regularly after that and whatever. And what happens then is his aunt she organizes this family gathering or reunion where everybody is going to this resort in the mountains. And the reason for that is that his brother is coming out of jail that day. So that's basically the story. And everybody is a little bit pissed at Ernie. And and then somebody dies there, just some random ass person, is found dead in the snow. The police officer at first thinks he is frozen to death, but we find out that he actually isn't, but he died through suffocation of ashes. So, and that's the mystery that I'm going to try to solve. So, yeah, keep tuned. It is almost 12:30 at night, and I'm not even finished with half of the book. But I promised to do a suspect board or a board of suspects. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's start with Ernest, our main protagonist. He is the guy who is writing the book, and he says that he never lies. I don't know if I actually believe it, but for the sake of it, we just believe it. And he basically guides us through the story and tells us on the background of all the characters, because everybody in his family has killed someone. So he's telling us about the murders that happened prior to the murder we're trying to solve at this resort. And we'll come back to Ernest and the relationships he has with the other people while I talk about the other people. So let's just put him here for now. Okay, so the first person we're basically introduced to is Michael, who is Ernest's brother. And Michael, he drives himself to Ernest with the first that person we encounter in the book in the trunk, who is called Ellen. So Michael says that he found Ellen shot on the street, and he had a lot of money, a suspicious amount of money with him, like 65K or something, or 260K. And Michael basically always says that the money is theirs, meaning from the Cunningham family. So I suspect that there is some law behind that. But basically, Alan isn't really dead. He was shot, but he isn't dead. And Michael brings Ernest, or Ernie, with him to, try to dug him into the earth, or try to dug a hole and get rid of him. But they then find out that Ellen isn't dead, and that leads to Michael strangling Ellen, which leads to Ernest telling on Michael, like in the police, and then also going to court and saying that Michael murdered Ellen, which makes Ernest's whole family hate him, which consists of his mother, Audrey. I haven't found out a lot about the law of Audrey, but I'm currently in the chapter, and we're gonna get to chapter 19. But I'm pretty sure, because Ernest and Michael, they had a little brother, and that little brother is dead. And I kind of feel like Audrey, their mother has killed him. Okay, so to that, I was actually right. The chapter of Audrey ends with her basically being the cause of Jeremy's death, which is the little brother of Michael and Ernest, by leaving him in the hot car for too long. So he died of suffocation, basically. But Audrey hates Ernest because he told on Michael, and she really loves Michael. So that's her story. And her husband, Marcello, who's not their dad, but the dad was a criminal who also died. and killed someone. But Marcello was the lawyer of their dad. But after his death, he married Audrey, and he also was Michael's lawyer during that case, where Ernest said that Michael killed someone. So we put Marcello right next to his wife. So Michael has a daughter called Sophia, who's the only one who doesn't turn her back on Ernest. And Sophia is a doctor, and we already found out that she has killed someone by basically doing surgery on someone and killing them. And Ernest still has the money that Ellen had because Michael gave it to him, and then they went to court, but Ernest never gave that money away. So Sophia asks Ernest, who brought the money to that family gathering, to basically give her 60K. And we don't know yet why. But we know that she has a lawsuit coming, and her dad won't be her lawyer in that lawsuit because Catherine, Ernest and Michael's aunt on their dad's side, said that he shouldn't do it. And the law behind that kind of is that Catherine thinks that Sophia was drunk while she did surgery, whereas Sophia says that that never happened. She only had a glass of wine 8 hours prior. Also, during the murder that occurred in the resort, which, let me talk about him. We don't know who he is. He doesn't have a name, and he was not a guest at the resort, so nobody knows who he is, apparently. And during that murder, Sophia was at Ernest's room, where somebody called him from Sophia's room, and we don't know who it was. But Sophia couldn't have murdered him because she has an alibi by Ernest. Well, so I told you about Catherine. She is kind of a bitch. She is the aunt, but she has a husband called Andy, and he's just a chill guy, which makes him a little bit suspect for me, because who can just be a chill guy in a murder mystery? But we'll see. So those two, they also are the two who invited everybody to the retreat, basically. And the whole story behind that is that Michael is getting out of jail, and they are getting together to see him for the first time after jail again. Then we have Erin, who is Ernest's wife, but they kind of they didn't divorce, but they separated while Michael went to jail, and Erin basically got with Michael, and she is the one who picked him up from jail. And basically the murder occurred the night before Michael came out of jail, but we already found out that the detective, or the officer, Crawford, found out that Michael actually got out the day prior to what he told his family to out of jail. So he could have murdered our mystery man. So let's put Crawford on here somewhere. Also, bless his soul, because he is like kind of just an officer, but it's very snowy, so nobody's coming to his help, so he has to kind of find out who murdered this person. And he actually put Michael into custody, because he thinks that he murdered this guy, because he already is a murderer. Then we have Lucy, who I also don't know much about right now, but she is the ex-wife of Michael, and she wants him back bad, and she is also very jealous of Erin and Michael being together. And the last person is Janet, who is kind of sus, but I don't think she was it, because I think it's one of the Cunninghams. And Janet is the owner of the resort. So let's put her right here. Okay, let's connect some people with the red line, just because it looks cuter. So those four have a love square going on. We don't have any connections to the dead guy. We only know that Sophia has an alibi. So let's put her right here for now. Because I actually don't think it was her. Even though maybe Ernest is lying about some stuff, I still don't think it's her. Those two, however, are very weird because on the night that the guy died, they actually canceled the dinner with the family because she wasn't feeling great, and he left with his car for 6 hours. So we don't know what he did. I don't know about these two, so I don't know a lot right now. However, I think that he is a little bit suspect because he is a little bit too cheery. But so far, I'm not getting behind it. I am not too much further ahead, but I have a lot more information. So we know that Michael killed Ellen for money. And they always said it's our money. And that makes sense because Michael gave the money to Ellen before he killed him because he had some information and we don't know about it. But what we also found out is that Ellen was a police officer who killed the boy's dad. So the dad basically was a criminal, as I said. And he killed a police officer, which led another police officer to killing him. And that police officer that killed him was Ellen. Oh. And basically, Michael gave Ellen money, but not enough. So he meant to give him 300K, but he only gave him 267K, which made Ellen very mad, trying to shoot Michael. But Michael got the gun and shot Ellen. Then he drove him over. And then when they went to dispose of his dead body, he went up to his still living body, and Ellen said that he was the guy who killed his father, which led him to get furious and then actually kill him off. So we know that Ellen and the dad are somehow related. Let me get my rope out. Okay, I know this is getting a little bit confusing, but I like the rope, so we have to stick with it. Thing that is most important is I have a new suspect. Not Andy anymore, but now we actually have some hints. Because Erin, who is now with Michael and used to be with Ernest, let's take her out of here, because she actually picked Michael up. And they have a huge transporter with them, which we don't know what is inside right now. Michael claimed that he had his old furniture in there, but that's not true. We already know that. And Ernest now has the key to see what's inside, but I haven't been there yet. But I think Erin killed the guy because this thing that Michael got from Ellen, which we don't know what it is yet, is some information. And there were already some other people who were killed off by maybe the same serial killer that killed this guy. And those people wrote him an email when he was in jail and wanted the information he got from Ellen. That information was in his back pocket. And I know that in the beginning, Erin was grabbing his back pocket to put something inside. And then we found out by Ernest, which he told us that he didn't see right then and there, but he told us in retrospect that she put her hand in his back pocket again. And when Michael wants to show Ernest what he had in his back pocket, basically the information that he got from Ellen, it was gone. So that makes me believe that Erin doesn't want this information out there, or wants this information or something, so that the second time she grabbed his back pocket, she took it out. Okay, so what happened so far? I have switched to audiobook now. Because my sister has the book on Audible, and I won't finish it unless I listen to the book. But I'm on page 300 and stuff has happened. So let me show you the board. My last main suspect was Erin. Though everything that made her a suspect is kind of, well, was revealed now. So she took the thing out of Michael's pocket, which was just like something to see if jewels were real. That was what happened. Also, the night that Michael was released from prison, him and Erin spent the night together. But what they actually did was dug out a grave where the guy's dad killed was inside, and a child. And this child was kind of kidnapped, and the sum that the kidnapper wanted was 300K, which we know that this was supposed to be 300K, but well, it's very complicated and I still don't get it. But however, that was also what was inside the transporter. So Ernest found out that that was what is inside the the truck, whatever, the truck. And he broke his hand while doing so because somebody loosened the brake of the truck so that he drove into a lake. While this whole truck incident was, Michael got killed by Black Tongue, which is the serial killer that is on the loose, who also killed this guy. And they killed them by like putting them into a room and then like putting ashes into the room so that they breathe in ashes and kind of die from suffocation. So maybe it's actually not Erin. So my suspect goes back to Andy because he is suspiciously happy and quiet and kind of like the odd one out of the family because everybody there has killed someone and is super dark. I don't know if he has killed someone right now, but like I don't know. So, and then also I thought about Crawford, but he actually came into the equation like after the person was dead. So I don't think it's him. I also don't think it's Sophia because she has two alibis for both murders by Ernest. So she was also at the truck during the time that Michael died. And so was actually Erin. So then we also have this thing that we still don't know about, which is did Marcello go like during the 6 hours car drive? Because now we know that he went on a route that was like in a circle, and this route was only 50 minutes. So where did he go and why did he do it? So, you know, like those 6 hours during the murder. And currently, what happened is that Lucy, she, after Michael died, lashed out and screamed at everybody. But now she is missing, and it kind of, Ernest kind of, like basically hinted that they are searching for her as Black Tongue, so she is the murderer. However, I still don't think so because I still have 100 pages left. So that kind of leads me to, well, I don't know. And also, Marcella could have been the murderer, but Ernest told us while Michael was dead or getting killed, it was Marcello's chapter. So I told you, like, everybody gets a chapter where Ernest explains who they killed. And in Marcello's chapter, only Michael died. But then Ernest told us that yes, that's true, but we shouldn't believe everything because we still have so many pages left, so it couldn't have been Marcello. So it still makes me like the only one that is left would be Andy and Catherine. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I think I'm gonna go and for a walk and listen to a little bit more of the book. And if I have something to say, I'm gonna update you on the walk without the board. But yeah, I still don't know. Still, my suspicion went back to Andy, maybe, and Catherine. But I don't know why. There is no real like hint. And we also don't know who the dead person was. We just know that Black Tongue killed a lot of people with the same method, like that were associated some way to the Cunninghams, especially to the dad, because some were his dad's lawyers, or not lawyers, but something like involved in the case of the dad who killed the policeman. So I don't know. I don't know what could happen. Okay, so Lucy is now dead, but she wasn't killed like the other people. So I don't know. And also, um, the kid that was in the coven with the cop was kidnapped by some cops who were involved with the case of Robert, the dad of Michael and Ernest. Yeah, that's what I know right now. And I think we're getting closer and closer to the mystery. And as I said, we met the people, the parents of the kid who was in the coven, and they said that when Marcelo was like away in the car for those 6 hours, he was probably driving Audrey, the mom, to them. So we don't know how she is involved, but she definitely knew about this whole thing. And not the deaths, but like that this kid was kidnapped and all that stuff. But he drove her there. But since we still have like a little to go, I still think it's either Catherine or Andy because we haven't heard much about them. Okay, so you see me here at the end of the video, so that means I still have to film the reveal because I didn't do that. So I finished the book 2 days ago, I think, and I know who it was, and I know this was a lot, but I'm trying to give you as little information as you need, and I'm not going to solve every single mystery that I dug into because maybe you want to read the book still after the reveal, but it's just a little bit too much, and this video would be 40 minutes. Okay, so well, who done it? It was Crawford. And let me get there. So what happened? The kid in the coven was a girl who was kidnapped by the police who were involved in the dad's trial, basically, because the dad was a criminal. Okay, so the dad was a criminal, but he wanted to get out of that, so he cooperated with the police. But there was to find some corrupt policemen, and there were a lot, and they kidnapped this girl. Kind of. Well, it doesn't matter. And they had pictures associated to the case. Well, the police was involved, but the pictures showed some people who done like this kidnapping, and that was also the information that Michael wanted to get from Ellen. And yeah, that's what happened. That's all that, and that's why everybody was so mad at Ernest for snitching on Michael because it was like a family thing and the dad didn't do anything wrong, blah blah blah. However, I don't even know if that was important, but whatever. So it was Crawford indeed, and Crawford wasn't a police officer, but Crawford actually killed the police officer who was the dead person nobody knew about. Because this wasn't actually Crawford, it was Jeremy who died, who is the brother of Michael and Ernest, who died in the car. But actually, he was also kidnapped as a kid. And of course, the mom knew. And I don't know, like, I think the boys didn't really understand and they thought he died in the car, but he actually didn't die in the car. And he was kidnapped and he was brought to, I think, the 2 police officers that were also killed. I didn't really go into that, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, Jeremy then found out that Michael killed Alan and that he is related to the Cunninghams, and he wanted to meet them again to be a family and whatever. But then he got there because he found out there was a family gathering. He got there and he wanted to, he had a talk with Michael and he wanted to bond with him over being killers or whatever. But Michael has changed since because he was in jail and he has, like, he saw that what he did was wrong. So Jeremy, aka Crawford, killed Michael, and I don't know. That's the story. Everybody did something shady, and yeah, that's the whole thing. And I gave the book 4 to 5 stars. I'm not sure yet, like 4.5 probably, because it was very good. I loved that we got like hints that like, the author gave us like hints. He was like, on page 300, this and this going to happen and whatever. um or like you might think that this hints to him being the killer, but he isn't. And I really enjoyed that, and the thinking that would have went into this book while writing it is immense, because I can't even tell you everything because it's like too much. But yeah, that was the book, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Even though it was a little bit stressful to watch, I have to be honest. However, if you liked it, please like the video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel to see more of me. So yeah, we'll see each other in the next video. Bye bye.